Live to New York now. Let's talk to Frank Ucciardo. Frank, it seems that the UN Special Envoy's efforts are being frustrated by lack of council action and cooperation between the warring factions on the ground and in their capitals.
Yes, truly, as we speak right now, members of the Security Council are still tossing over amendments to a U.S. draft resolution on a new ceasefire resolution that would take language out of there, allowing the Russians and the Syrians to continue their airstrikes and bombings in the middle of a humanitarian pause. And also, Mr. de Mistura went into some really troubling facts that he has revealed. One of the things he said that, now in the fighting, he's getting reports of women being sexually assaulted during evictions from their homes. That is something he has said he has confirmed, and that's something new. He said he also has confirmation of banned weapons, such as barrel bombs and chemical weapons that are being used right now. And he says another thing, as far as going towards negotiations, he says, efforts to get the Russians and the opposition parties to kind of negotiate and talk on the ground to get the process started has failed basically so far, and that's not happening. So yes, his efforts are not being supported by the political side of things. And speaking of the political side of things, the Constitutional Committee that they are trying to form on Syria, he says he's not getting a lot of successful candidates that are being sent to him from the parties that are supposed to be involved. And one of those parties, of course, is Syria. So a lot of his efforts have been frustrated in that direction as well, Jamie.
Meanwhile, on the ground, the International Committee of the Red Cross issued a pretty grim assessment of the Syria conflict today.
Yeah, the president of the Red Cross, Peter Maurer, was in the country recently, and he's really painting a really dire situation there. Some of the numbers are rather incredible. He says, humanity is being ignored. He says, fighting is a frightening new normal here right now. And he says, basically, he says humanitarian workers are not able to do their work. People are stopping them, even though, people are still starting to get out of the country. He said now, some numbers over the past 7 years that he revealed in his report. We have hundreds of thousands killed, 6.1 million people have been displaced, 4 out of every 5 persons are basically living in poverty, and we have another 13 million people that are in need of humanitarian assistance, including 6 million children. That's 6 million children out of those 13 million, and 1.75 million of those school children are not in school, so they need to be schooled. And as far as reaching people in besieged areas, he says there's almost 3 million people that cannot be reached yet because of the conflict.
Frank Ucciardo in New York, thank you.